I am so excited to bring you this furniture makeover because this is the first project I will be refinishing to bring to the shop for sale. For those of you who don't know, I signed a new lease at an awesome place called Rust and Grain. So stay tuned for the entirety of the video to get a breakdown of costs and how much I'm going to be selling this set for. Welcome back to another episode of Refinishing Furniture. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Monica and I am the founder and creator of Jerosol Vintage, a small business that brings old forgotten furniture back to life. Let's get started. This time, instead of using crud cutter, I used heavy-duty cleaning wipes by the brand Tub of Towels. I think I'm saying it right. I've never used these before, but my number one fan, aka my husband, bought them for me, so I'm going to be using them. I really hope I like them because they have a variety of them in Amazon, including some that are for granite counters and even upholstery. Once I was done cleaning, I started removing the hardware, which I will be keeping for this makeover. One of my goals for this new contract is to keep my investment costs as low as possible without compromising design and quality. One way to keep costs down for this makeover is by reusing the hardware. So this set is a French Louis XVI style tables, which I love because they are timeless and classic. These specific tables though have a pierced gilt metal gallery, which is the part that you see me removing. They are severely tarnished, but I will try my best to polish them. Now if they are too far gone, I might have to spray paint them, but we will see. How cool are these? Honestly, it's like the tables are wearing crowns. After taking all the hardware off, I started using my Surf Prep sander to begin scuff sanding, but soon I realized that the tops were solid mahogany, and you guys know I am a sucker for natural tops, so I switched to my orbital sander to get down to bare wood. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to shops where they sell refinished furniture, and I look at the pieces that were sanded down to bare wood and restained, and I see a bunch of pigtails on the finish. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but that just looks sloppy to me. So to avoid that mistake, make sure that you start using 120 grit sandpaper, then 180, 220, and so on. After sanding, I went ahead and covered the tops so I can start working on the rest of the tables. As you saw in the beginning of this video, the tables had a bunch of deep gouges in areas where chunks of wood were missing, so I had to use Bondo to fix those areas. Now, because I am going to be using a light color to paint these side tables, I have to make sure that the primer I'm using either has shellac in it or it says it's an oil-based primer to keep any wood tannins from bleeding through the paint. I did 2 coats of primer, allowing each one to dry for an hour before sanding and painting. So unfortunately, these gilded galleries were too tarnished and decolored, so I decided to spray paint them using my favorite gold metallic paint. I also spray painted the pools to create a more cohesive look. For the paint, I am using a combination of two paints in equal parts, white blush and natural almond. I discovered this paint combo by accident one day when, by mistake, I mixed two sample-sized colors, thinking it was the same, but as Bob Ross would say, it was a happy little accident. Did any of you ever watch Bob Ross, or am I too old to be telling you guys this story time? But basically, when I came to the United States from Mexico, it was in the summer and school wouldn't start for another 8 weeks. So for those 8 weeks, I watched Bob Ross every day at 3:30, just mesmerized by his work, and thankfully I also picked up my first words and phrases in English. Most of the time, I would fall asleep by the end of his show, but that's because his voice is so freaking soothing. It's time to stain the tops, but you might notice that I painted the edge of the tables, and that's because I want there to be more contrast between the gallery and the light edge. Otherwise, it blends too much and you wouldn't be able to fully appreciate the gilded gallery. For the stain, I am using Jacobian by Varathane. I wanted to stay away from the red tones, and this Jacobian stain definitely toned it down a bit, exposing the beautiful wood grain. Once the stain was dry to the touch, I covered it with the red paper to begin top coating the rest of the nightstands. It's so important to understand that because I used an oil-based product and the top coat is water-based, you have to give the stain enough time to cure, otherwise you'll get marbling and basically the stain will repel the top coat, and well, you can only imagine what that's gonna look like. Lastly, I'm applying the top coat to the tops using a sponge applicator. This is to allow me to apply a thicker coat than I would just using my sprayer. I like doing this because more product fills in the wood grain, giving me a smoother surface once it dries. Now you're a real one if you made it to the end. So here is a final breakdown of costs. I paid $10 for these tables on Marketplace. In materials, I spent a total of $39, making my grand total investment $49. I will be selling these beauties at $320, giving me a total profit of $271. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And before I show you the final result, here is a little sneak peek at next week's project. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with your friends and family. I'll see you guys next week for another furniture flip. Bye-bye.